Now, one of the things to do is if you don't have your first $10,000 yet, I want you to spend some time finding money. What do I mean by finding money? First, you can start in your house. Start to look around your house and say, what are some of these things that I don't use anymore that I could go sell on Facebook Marketplace? Start to sell some of your stuff. Start to get rid of some of the clutter in your house. Sell it on eBay if you have to. And honestly, you'd be surprised at how much money you can make on eBay by just selling your old stuff, from clothes to shoes to kids' toys to all these different things. You can absolutely increase the amount of money that is coming into your household just by selling your old stuff. And once you do that, take those extra dollars and put them towards your investment account so that you can begin to grow your wealth. Also, you can find ways to cut back on some of your expenses as well. If you know you're overspending in some categories, pick 1 to 2 categories a month and focus on slowly reducing how much you're spending in those categories, because this is going to help you then take the difference, the amount that you saved, and start to automate it into your brokerage account. The mistake that most people make is when they save money, then all of a sudden they don't actually tell those dollars where to go next. Instead, they decide, I'm just going to put it back in my checking account and I'll figure it out later. No, you need to make sure you're telling those dollars where to go, which is why automation is so important and why your behavior is going to be the framework on how you build wealth for the rest of your life, your behavior during this time frame. And so your first $10,000 is going to be established almost entirely by your behavior, by your psychology, and the way that you operate when it comes to money. This is 100% all about your savings rate. And you need to increase that savings rate by 1, increasing your income, 2, finding ways to find more money so you can increase that savings rate, and 3, cutting back on some of the expenses that are just excess or frivolous that you don't really need. And so this, your first $10,000, is an amazing milestone and an amazing achievement for the beginner wealth builder, because once you get started, then you realize, oh, I can do this, and I can do this over and over and over again. And so that's the first milestone. Now, between the first $10,000 and the next milestone, we have our first marker. And so this marker is going to be the $50,000 level. So again, remember, this is to keep you motivated between some of these milestones so that you have something to strive for. And so the $50,000 marker is going to be the shift where once you're past that first milestone, the compounding engine still really isn't taking over yet. You're really still relying on your savings rate. And so getting to that first $50,000 is going to see a big difference. The cool thing about this portion is once you get past 10,000 and you're starting to save and invest more, you're starting to see that balance grow. And your balance growing is going to feel really, really good. It's going to keep you motivated over that time frame. And especially those of you who had a 401k for a long time, for example, or maybe a Roth IRA for a long time, and you've just slowly been putting some dollars in there, you've maybe seen this happen to you, where your balance has grown without you even thinking about it. Well, that's what we want to happen to you. And so at this $50,000 level, this is where we are going to see some really cool stuff. Now, income growth, once you get to $50,000, is one of the areas that I want you to focus on, because this is the most powerful thing that you can do to your finances is grow your income. Why? Because if you keep the amount of money that you're spending the same, but your income grows, well, all of a sudden, you have all these extra dollars to put towards wealth building, to put towards your investments. And when you do that, especially when you're trying to get to your first $50,000, this is going to make the biggest impact overall, because as you will see, when your money begins to compound, the majority of it is going to be your savings rate. And so that savings rate needs to get increased more and more and more if you want to achieve these goals faster. And so we are actually going to give you a free calculator that we put together. If you go to mastermoney.co/resources, we have something called the Financial Milestone Track. And on this track, it's going to show you exactly how long it's going to take for you to hit each of these milestones that we're going to be talking about today and each of these markers today based on how much you're investing every single month and the rate of return. It's the coolest tool, and we are really excited to introduce this to you guys. It's absolutely free. So make sure you check it out by going to mastermoney.co/resources, because let's say, for example, you're trying to get to your first $50,000. You can plug in the information into this tool, and it'll show you exactly how long it's going to take you to get to that first $50,000. So again, go to mastermoney.co/resources and it'll be there for you. Now, as we start to grow our income, I want you to take the difference of the increase of that income, especially if you're under milestone 2 still, and I want you to put as much as you possibly can towards your investments. Now, we want to have a little bit of a balance as time goes on, but if you are under milestone 2 still, then I need you to put as much as you possibly can towards your investment goals. That is really, really important as we start to grow this. Now, the second thing you could do is I want you to keep lifestyle inflation in check. Lifestyle inflation is the one thing that could absolutely destroy your progress as you begin here. And if you're under milestone 2, this is really going to hurt your progress. So you want to make sure that you are keeping it in check. So what is lifestyle inflation? This is if you get a raise and all of a sudden your expenses raise to the same level as how much you have made. And so maybe, for example, you take on a new car payment because you're making more money. You're like, we can afford it. I have the extra cash on hand. So instead of investing those dollars, you decide to take on a brand new car, even though the current car that you're driving is perfectly fine. Or maybe you decide to upgrade your house too early before you have enough money getting rolling and invested. And so you've decided, okay, instead of investing my dollars, I'm going to take the difference and put it towards my personal residence. Well, for the most part, a personal residence is not the best place for your money. And honestly, it's not a very good investment whatsoever. You got to run the numbers on this kind of stuff to understand the trade-offs of exactly what you're doing. So you want to keep lifestyle inflation in check. This is where most people are going to get hurt, is overinflating their lifestyle. And if you're in your 30s or you have a family now and you have kids in your life, lifestyle inflation comes at you like a thief in the night. And you need to be aware that it exists, and you need to be aware of ways to combat against it so it does not take over your financial life. Things like daycare are going to take over. Things like increased expenses because you have kids or because you have a spouse. Things like spending more on food, spending more on dining out, spending more on kids' activities, spending more on sports, spending more on the bigger house or the car payment. These are all going to kill you if you are not aware that this happens. Now, the other thing I want you to note is at this $50,000 marker, you need to make sure that you stay invested through market volatility. The first real downturns are going to happen during this phase. You're going to feel some of these 20% pullbacks, 30% pullbacks, and they're going to make you panic. It's going to be the first time that you feel this. It's going to be the first time that you go through this in the market. Let me say this right now. The market pulling back is, one, healthy. Two, it is natural. Historically, this happens every couple of years that we have market pullbacks. And in fact, every 10 years or so, we have a correction or a recession. And so because of this information, you need to know that this is very, very normal. When the market pulls back, in fact, you hear people say this all the time, buy low and sell high. Until it's time to do some buy low, sell high stuff, most people are going to repeat that over and over again. Then when it's actually time to buy low, most people get too scared or they freak out because they watch CNBC or they watch the news and the news told them everything is crashing. The sky is falling. The news is there to try to get clicks. The news is there to try to get you to watch. The news is there to scare you into making really the wrong decisions in a lot of scenarios. Do not listen to what the news is telling you. Instead, you need to move forward and understand how the market moves, that this is a very normal occurrence, and over the long run, you will win with money if you're a long-term investor. My favorite exercise to tell people is to take out a stock market app and go look at the longest time horizon of the S&P 500. And what direction does that market go? It only goes in one direction, which is up. Now, we've done this a number of times talking through what is the risk of losing money in the market if you stay invested over the long term, and historically, if you stay invested in something like the S&P 500 for 20 years or longer, people have lost money 0% of the time. And so if you don't want to lose money in the market, stay invested longer. That is the overall key of what history has told us. So that is the marker in between milestone 1 and milestone 2 is $50,000. Now let's jump into milestone 2. So milestone 2 is going to be saving up your first $100,000. Now, this is the hardest overall for most people because this is a slog and this is a grind. And it is very difficult to get to your first $100,000 because you are saving so much. All of it is your savings rate. All of it has to do with you. All of it has to do with the amount of money that you're earning. You're getting up every single day. You're driving through traffic to work. You're listening to your boss all day. You're driving home just to get enough money to save a few hundred or a few $1,000s towards your investment account. And so this is why it's so hard, because your first 100K has all to do with your savings. Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's business partner, is very famous for saying your first 100K is a grind. And there is math that explains why. So let me say this, for example. So saving $500 a month at 10% returns takes roughly 10 to 11 years to hit your first 100K. Saving $1,000 a month at 10% returns takes roughly 6 to 7 years to hit your first 100K. And saving $2,000 a month at 10% rate of return takes roughly 4 to 5 years. Now use our tool. You can actually use our calculator that we just talked about. If you go to mastermoney.co/resources, it'll show you exactly how long it'll take based on your situation and where you are starting. But your savings rate is the biggest variable here. A 10% return on $20,000 is only $2,000. And so you need to realize that you need to save your way to your first 100K. Let me say it louder for the people in the back. You need to save your way to your first 100K. You cannot out-invest a low savings rate. It's just going to take you way longer if you do have a low savings rate. And so we need to figure out, well, how do we increase our savings rate? It's, again, income and cutting back, which is why we talked about the marker at $50,000. You really need to focus on increasing your income, building those skills that are going to help you increase your income so that you can get to that point in time. Now, what do you need to focus on to get to your first 100K and at this milestone once you cross this milestone? Well, first, now that you've crossed the milestone, we need to make sure that we are maximizing tax advantage accounts. So the Roth IRA, the 401k, any of those are really, really important, and especially the HSA if you're eligible. Also, we want to aggressively grow our income through skills. We want to do it through career moves, maybe some side businesses, but we want to focus on growing that income so that we can really get to the next milestone, which is going to be a big, big difference. You also want to protect this savings rate at all costs, which is why we build the emergency fund up front, is so that if something happens in life, it doesn't derail your savings rate and throw you off track. No, instead, you have the emergency fund in place to take care of anything that is going to happen in life. And then you just follow the 136 method. If you haven't heard that episode, we will link it up down below in the show notes. It is a core tenet to what we talk about here on this podcast is the 136 method. And so you just follow back into frame with the 136 method. And then you need to also understand what you're investing in. This is the point in time where now it is very important to understand asset allocation. Sure, it's important at the other milestones as well, but now you need to know why you're investing in what you're investing in. Having your investment plan in place is very important, and getting properly invested and making sure you're not sitting with any cash on hand that's supposed to be invested. So getting those dollars in these accounts and then making sure you're buying the index funds and ETFs that make sense, that is exactly what you need to be doing, or whatever else you're going to be investing in. Maybe you're a dividend stock investor. Maybe you're an individual stock investor. It just depends on what floats your boat. I personally am an index fund and ETF investor, and so this is why this is going to change everything. Now, once you cross $100,000, the math begins to flip. And at 10% rate of return, if you have $100,000 invested, well, that's fantastic, because guess what? You're going to make $10,000 in that given year if you got a 10% rate of return. And so that's without you doing anything, which is why the math begins to flip. And so in year two, all of a sudden you have $110,000 if you didn't add anything else. And this means that you're making that amount of money, but also the contributions that you're putting in is growing this account as well. And you can see how this is going to begin to compound over time, where it could make a really big impact on your bottom line.